Welcome back to another episode of a Wander's Way podcast. I'm your host, Dustin, and today we're talking about the positives of social media with a special guest joining me today. And she is a comedian, also a fellow podcaster, and she's going to be joining me in this discussion about how social media actually helps in many positive way of careers and hobbies. Hi, Kendra. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
Hey, everything is everything. You slept all right? You got your 10 hours of sleep?
I don't, 10 hours. Nope. Not even close.
Well, it's okay. You got tonight to do that. That's all.
Maybe, but every time when I'm saying I'm going to go to bed at 8 o'clock, I'm going to end up there at 5 a.m. instead.
It's okay. It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah. So today we're going to have a discussion about the positives of social media and how it will impact upon your careers and hobbies.
All right, let's do it. I want the audience to be informed.
Definitely. Absolutely. So first question I have for you is, you've mentioned that you have been a comedian. I just want to know, how long have you been a comedian?
2016 was when I started via Snapchat, and at the time, and I was like, hey, welcome back to the Kendra Crumb Show. And at the time, it was like Lil' Kim's hardcore album, which actually, little fun fact about Lil' Kim, I actually wrote some of those lyrics. But we've been beefing since like the 90s. So I told her if she doesn't put my name on that on the credits, then I'm gonna let people know that she looks like a character from Saw. So yeah, that's mean. But yeah, so I imported my videos late 2017, early 2018 on Instagram because I realized you can go more viral on Instagram. And I started jumping on people's podcasts October 2020. And since then, I've been on like 700 podcasts. Well, no, really, it's 800 podcasts at this point.
Wow. Way more than me. Actually, I have not been on any other podcast yet.
Exactly. Well, it's okay, man. Like, it's the first time for everything.
Definitely. So what made you want to become a comedian then?
A lot of people told me over time that I was funny. I never tried to be funny. Like, so, I had people like children, kids are going to tell you what it is. And, it's three things that don't lie. It's children, a drunk man, and leggings.
That's true.
Okay? Very true. Very true. So I said, hey, let me go ahead and try to shoot my shot with this comedy thing. And after multiple people told me, I said, let me just go for it. And I do open mic nights on Wednesday nights on the south side of Atlanta. It's in the hood. It's one of those hood spots where by the time your food comes out, the show's over.
Yeah, I know Atlanta. Well, not all of it, but I definitely know those areas.
What part of Atlanta, so I can see what time it is with you? What part of Atlanta are you talking about that you know of?
Oh, I'm trying to remember here. So I was only there for about a couple hours, and that's because I was
remember.
But it was off of the Greyhound, which always gives you, well.
Oh yeah, never. Did you? Were you outside of like a strip club by chance?
Yeah, it's been a while. Let's see.
Well, there's one place. It's called Magic City, and it's like in front of Greyhound like bus. They're like, hey, after taking a long trip, come on down over here where we're at, and walk across the street, and you can see some legs and booty in the air. Black.
Was there a convenience store right next to it?
That I don't know because I have not been to Magic City because it's out of my tax bracket.
I was gonna say, because I remember walking across the street and from the Greyhound because I had that damn layover, and I walked across the street over there to a convenience store, and man, everyone kept trying to size me up and begging me for money and everything. I'm just like,
yeah, honey. Oh, you in the hood, honey. You know what? Let me tell you something. Like in the lower income neighborhoods, you're going to get. Now, let me ask you something. You said that like where you're at, there is some type of hood in a way. Do you have people at the gas station ask you for money or try and sell you their mixtape?
no, well, I don't go to that gas station like ever because I only have one type of gas station I go to. But I just know that's where all the shootings always happen. That's where the drug deals are at, and
So
every single time.
What's the police doing about it then?
I have no idea. They're always there every day.
Why don't you run for like governor then?
Yeah, right.
Okay, good answer. But no, like I said, that's pretty much going back to it, that's pretty much how I got into it. And I will say this, right? You can utilize social media for the greater good. I'm utilizing social media so I can get the hell out of my neighborhood, my Section 8 neighborhood, and go to a place where you can go to the gas station and you don't have to worry about being panhandled or anything else in that realm. Because it's really, and that's the thing, right? If you ever, I notice in the lower income neighborhoods, they have people at the gas station trying, pretty much doing that mess. If you go to the rich areas, they don't have people at the gas station doing that. So it makes me wonder, why is it like that,
I think it's all political, Honestly, in my opinion, I think the government's idea is to keep people as poor as possible because then they have full control. And when you look at all the places in America, the majority of places are more of the median to poor than it is rich.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in New York City. I used to live there too. And everywhere you go, it's miserable, like the city's beautiful, but man, there's everything else that's wrong with it.
I mean, yeah, you have the good parts and the bad parts. I just really think that people, I don't know. I really just wish that people can wake up and realize what cycle we're in. Like, it's a consistent cycle of so much mess.
Yeah. All right. So the next question I have for you is, outside of being a comedian, what other hobbies or careers are you pursuing?
Besides running my drug cartel? I'm gonna tell you just what I like doing for fun in general. I like to play video games. I'm like pretty much like a guy in a sense. Play video games, watch movies, shoot pool, play sports, read, write.
Nice,
stuff.
nice.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
What about for a career pursuit? You mentioned you were going to college, right?
I just recently graduated from Clark Atlanta University, and I
Nice.
got my bachelor's in mass communications, and so I'm going back to school in January, and I'm going to go ahead and be on the road to receiving my PhD in child psychology. The reason I chosen
Nice.
child psychology is because because I realize a lot of our trauma stems from childhood. And so, the reason why you have so many crappy adults is because that trauma never got rooted out, and they learn along the way unhealthy ways of suffocating that trauma, And so with that being said, I say, hey, if I can help a child out, at least one or two kids, I did my job. Yeah. Everybody needs, Dustin, everybody needs therapy. Like, have you ever done therapy or like at any point in your life?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I need therapy for. So, and it all actually stems from my childhood, ironically.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are ways that you've done over a course of time to help you positively go about, getting that like trauma rooted out, or not having so much of that trauma show where you're treating people like crap?
Oh man, that's a loaded question for me. Because really, I think I'm always different from most people. I don't really accept a lot of therapy because I've had bad experiences with it. So I know that's not everybody, but I can't. When I tried therapy before, it just didn't work. I just had to work on myself. So pretty much for the last several years, I've been by myself, alone, isolated, and taking care of myself, which kind of is also another damaging aspect too, is isolation. So it's a double-edged sword for me at times.
Got you. And now again, that's real. That's real. But yeah, I think like I said, I want to be able to try to help people out, I want to be able to try to help people out.
That's a beautiful thing. That's why I took the job as a direct support professional. Even though it's a little less pay, I get to help people out that really needs help, and it's so mentally exhausting too. So, but I get to deal with a lot of people that have similar issues like me, and more.
Of course.
All right. So, how has social media actually benefited you throughout your entire career, both being a comedian and everything else?
Social media has helped me be able to connect with people all around the world. It's been able to help me, meet people like yourself. Had we not, I found you on a Facebook podcast page. So had it not been for that Facebook podcast page, I would have never come across you or so. It helps you be able to realize who really has talent and who doesn't. You got to utilize social media for the greater good. And so that's the thing about that. I just, I try to just get myself out there, no matter what your talent is. Like if you're doing, you have plenty of people who do the same type of occupation, or have the same hobby. But what's going to make your hobby stand out to make people want to work with you or so? And so that's the thing about that. Like, I think some people use, like, social media used to be a place where it was fun. Like, it was a fun place, but now it's like the Prove Yourself Awards and the games, and it's plenty of scams. Like, have you ever got scammed or almost scammed on social media?
Yeah, people try it all the time, especially with those promotional things. I'm just like, what? Yeah, and they're all over all those pages too for the podcasting.
Exactly. So yeah, it's like I try to be different than that.
Nice. So have you found anything negative, like any negative impacts from social media upon your career or any of your hobbies?
The only negative impact is people trying to get me to pay them to come on their podcast. And what I did, I've asked a couple people. One of them blocked me when I said, "Why are you charging me to come on your podcast if I have more followers than you?" They blocked me. One of them just didn't answer the question. Another person, I asked them about that. They said because people have wasted their time, so they're making sure that their time is not wasted. They are, instilling a fee. And I said, why don't you just do the no call, no show fee at the at the end, once they don't show up. Don't ask them for money up front, because what if something happens to you and you don't show up, or anything could happen? What if you die? They can't get their money back. And they're like, yeah, you're right about that. You're very much right about that. But like, I don't have a way of doing that, and I'm on the top, 10 podcasters, in the entire world. I ain't never heard of you. You know what be so funny? Like, and I'll ask them that. I'll be like, I have 37,000 listeners and 1.2K following on YouTube. Bro, I got 3.65K following. I got more following than you. Okay, yeah. So okay, but and you know what I told him? And here's the thing though, Dustin, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not even trying to bring it as a race thing, but it's a reason why, and this is gonna sound so freaking bad, but it's the truth. It's the reason why I tend to want to deal with white people more than I will with black people, because it be sometimes, and I understand this as well, people are gonna be people. You have some white folks out here who are probably just as bad as the next person. I also have learned that there's an N-word in every ethnicity. Okay, basically what that means is, in case for all the ones that don't know, it's an ignorant person. It's like the lower class, the lowest of the lowest, and with that being said, I understand that. But one thing I realized with white people versus black people, I've never had a white person say, I'm gonna charge you to come on my podcast. Y'all just bring me on. But a lot of Black people do that with me. And I'm like, and I said to them, I said to one guy yesterday, I said to him, hey, like promotions should be free because we're both helping each other. On top of that, I said, I always have this issue with Black people where you guys are the ones that want to try to charge me. I can understand if I had no talent, like you got people who are just talentless. Okay. Somebody along the way just told them that they were good. Nobody wanted to keep it real with them. But if you have a real talent, why are you charging me? He couldn't say nothing to that at all.
See, so I've done a lot of research before I started my podcasting because I want to make sure, I know exactly how things are going. And from everything that I've watched and read and understood over the last several years is no one gets paid to come on to someone's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The way you are paid, it's promotion of you, your brand, and your podcast. That's it.
Exactly.
And I'm always going to stick with that. I'm not going to charge somebody, but other ways you can go around it is for advertising, so I came up with this new idea for my podcast is, $25. I can promote you as an advertisement wherever you want within my episodes, however many episodes you want for a certain price, like I said, 25. And it promotes your brand and so on and so forth. So that's an idea that I came up with. I haven't really implemented it yet. But, like you can do stuff like that to, help yourself make money, but yet helping others out at the same time. But charging for someone to come onto your podcast, I think is kind of stupid, honestly. So
no, it is. And like I said, unless that person has no talent whatsoever, at all, like they literally are horrible and you let them know but they still want to come on, okay bro, just run me some money since you just want to come on my podcast. But if the person has real talent, then you should want to see them succeed. They're really out there trying.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about that. Like when I have people in my DM try to ask if I can promote a random page, like their dog page, I'm like, sure, send me some money because I don't care for that. You're the one who wants me to promote this dog page. That's it. But if you have real talent, like come on now, you out here trying to breed dogs. The animal population's out of control as is. What are you trying to breed more dogs for? Your house stank. Nobody's walking up in that place.
It's kind of like the human population too.
Exactly. Why do you think China told you only one child?
Oh, jeez, yeah. Anyways. So, yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. But just like you were talking about too, for me, I had the same experiences except with my own kind. So it seems to be the same for each kind. And race plays a role in certain things, but man, for me, I can't stand white people half the time.
You know what?
I have found the dumbest people in my entire life, and they're all white.
Wait, you know what, Dustin? I'm gonna keep it real with you as well. I think I also have said that just to try to make him kind of feel bad in a way as well. Be like, hey, bro, I'm just letting you know, like, Black people we're supposed to stick together, but like, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I try to make him feel bad, hopefully that let him know. But you know what I'm gonna do? One day when I do get bigger and he's gonna come back, I'm gonna charge him double. I'm gonna add a zero. You want me? Give me 150, and I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
And but you know what I learned, Dustin? Like I said, it took me a while to realize that no ethnicity is better than the other. We all have. There's, like I said, there's a lower class within every single person that you can come across. Whatever the racial slur that it might be. And so, with that being said, I will tell you this, right? I've had, like, I work in the service industry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break down the percentage and logistics and everything else like that. 85% of the customers who come to me are white. Out of that 85%, 65% of them leave me a tip. Okay. 10%. So we have 85, then we have 10% of my customers are Black. Out of that 10%, only 2% of the Black people leave me a tip. And the other 5% is other. Out of that other is 1%. Like if I'm like they're different, another ethnicity, and as long as I speak their language, I start speaking them, Spanish or Korean or whatever, then they leave me a tip because I'm trying or whatever else it may be. But I'm telling you, I have when it's come to actually putting me on with certain things or certain people or whatever, I will say I've had a better, or like I said, leaving me a tip or so, I've had better experience with white people than I have with black people. And to me, I don't understand that. And again, like I said, I've come across some rude white people where I'm like, man, somebody pissed in your cereal this morning. Wow.
Yeah.
What happened with you? I've had that. And they're doing this in front of their kids. I'm like, what? And the kids are nicer than them. I'm like, that's your parent? Maybe you should parent your parent, type of thing. But
Yep.
like I said, when it comes to what are some of your issues you've had with white people that make you really just disgusted with them while living in New York and then also living in Montana? What do you like in New York? Do you not like the people in New York a lot better than the people in Montana?
For me, it's a half and half. So my biggest thing right now that really makes me hate being here is and the same thing with New York too, is the same way, but opposite political fields. So it's always the politics, and people are so extreme with it. And then on top of that, so fucking ignorant, which... that is one of my biggest things. Like, I can understand you have ignorance towards certain things, but the willful lead choosing to be ignorant and brainwashed because you just want to vote red only, or I just want to vote blue only. It just drives me crazy. And then what I've noticed from that afterwards is it just you as a person just kind of decline backwards and down and further, way down the totem pole, all the way until you bonk your head at the bottom. And oh man, there's so much. So I love the culture of New York better than Montana. Culture here is the most boring culture I've ever experienced in my life, and
that's probably why that gas station, they just be shooting people up because that's their form of entertainment.
Yeah, they're literally, we don't have amusement park, professional football, or sports team, or any real race tracks other than dirt tracks. It's boring here. No wonder why I gained 40 pounds since I moved here for 2 years, and I never used to gain weight before. So, there's, I don't have a whole lot of black friends, but I do have several that are in New York City, and they're some of the best people I've ever met in my life.
So what I learned, we both are having a racial conflict where, I'm thinking that, white people are a lot better than the black folks. And then, you have an opposite type of realm. And it's like, I wonder why that is though. These are things that aren't talked about. I would have never known this had I not had this conversation.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with, so for example, I have other friends or associates, I guess you can say, that people that I know that talk about how much they hate. I mean, they tell me that they're racist against the Japanese because they're mean and terrible people. And I'm like, what? Because every Japanese I have ever met, and I'm a big fan of Japan. That's where I want to move and spend the rest of my life, is over there.
Okay, konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. And they're so amazing, I've never met a Japanese person that was rude and disrespectful to me. I know there's here and there, everybody has someone that's the bad apple of the group, but it's like to hate an entire race because of one or two people that were rude to you. I can't comprehend that.
So you feel like living in Japan will be a lot better than where you're living at right now. When do you see yourself actually living in Japan?
That's a hard one. I still have to have my fiance come over here from the Philippines with the twin boys, get married, and
really? Wait, you're engaged?
Yes, I am.
Hey, wait, hold on. Let me do a hand clap. Hold on. Let me do a hand clap. Woo! How'd you guys meet? Quick backstory.
Oh man. Actually on social media, ironically.
See, you can meet great people on social media.
Yes. And all of my friends in the entire world are all based around in every country outside of America. I have like 4 or 5 real good friends here in America and about like over 100 in every other country. So
okay, look at you. All right then. So she has sons and you're ready to be step papa.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's good. So when when she comes out here, then that's when you guys will move to Japan. Got it.
Yeah, whenever, if that happens. Japan is one of the toughest countries in the world to actually immigrate to. So
really?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
They have their high standards, the cleanliness and everything. On top of that, not wanting anyone to be on the streets living. So they're just really strict with it, which, I guess I can agree with, but fuck, so hard. All right. So, with that being said, you did mention your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the most important topics that you actually speak about within your podcast?
I just talk about people who are unprofessional. Like I have a segment called "What Would You Like to Ban?" BAN. For example, I want to ban people who park over the line. Okay. Yeah. I ban podcasters, unprofessional podcasters. I ban men in my DMs who are just full of crap. I ban a lot of that type of stuff. That's what I do. I just like to bring awareness to people, letting them know what time it is with a lot of these folks.
Well, I'm glad to hear that I've didn't come on unprofessional to you.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're all right with me.
It's good to know. So hopefully I'll have you back on the show sometime in the future.
You will, most definitely. Most definitely.
All right. So do you have any advice for the audience for using social media platforms to benefit their careers or their brands?
I honestly think if you're coming on social media, get to know folks, slide in people's DMs, all that type of stuff. I honestly think that people need to really know what they want, be serious. Don't sit here and try to charge folks for interviews. Don't sit here and try to hoodwink people, show up on time, because you never know who you're talking to. You never know how much power a person has. So you need to honestly do what you need to do to make that person want to work with you again. Make that person want to have some type of dealings with you. That's honestly what I would say. That would, I feel like, will take you further than anything.
All right.
In my honest opinion, I feel like that's it, man. Like, don't be trying to work with people if you're not going to be serious about it.
Of course. And as you know, I'm actually fairly new. This is 37 episode?
Hey, so, I made it under 50. That's beautiful.
So I'm trying. Like, I have been researching and studying the best I can to make sure that I can perfect my own brand and my own podcast.
And how have you been doing so far? What progression have you made from the first 5 episodes to now 37?
Well, when I listened to my first season, I think it's 12 episodes the first time. Oh man, you can tell the difference with my flow and how I speak. I'm not as nervous anymore. I don't hold back. I actually am more bright, I guess you can say, if that's the term I want to use. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I feel more alive when I actually come onto my podcast, and I actually want to do my podcast now.
Okay, that's it. There it is. Look at that. See, you found that awareness.
Yep. All right. So the last question I have, and this is actually going to be off the subject, but part of my podcast is about leisure. And one of the biggest things that I like to know is everything that has to do with traveling. So my question for you is, I would love to hear, what is one country that you would love to travel to and why?
One country I would like to travel to, this is going to sound so freaking bad. I want to go to Colombia, because I want to try real cocaine so freaking bad. I know. I know. Here in America, they make cocaine that is artificial. They put so much crap in it that's not real. Okay. So I want to go to Colombia, and it's cheaper. Real Colombia, go try the cocaine and say, put it off my bucket list. But then again, a real one. I want to do Amsterdam because everything's legal. Hell, you can go prostitute, and it's not like they're like, oh well, she's just prostituting. It's freedom. They understand, bro, you're a hardworking adult. Why you gotta go to prison for prostitution? It's two consenting adults. Ain't like that person's a pimp.
Right.
Know?
Well, awesome. Thank you for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it. Do you want to provide your links out for everyone to come see your podcast and everything?
Yes. My links are Instagram is the Kendra Crump Show. So the is in the KY and as in Nancy DRA CRUMP show SHOW. That's my Instagram. My YouTube is Kendra Crump, KYNDRA space CRUMP, and then my podcast is called the Kendra Crump Show podcast, and that's pretty much it. You guys can find me where y'all can find Dustin. Same place.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming on the show. I hope that you'll come back in the future.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of A Wanderer's Way podcast. I am here every Tuesday releasing a new episode, sometimes more than one. If you're new here, thank you for joining, and I hope you continue on listening. And also, if you are interested in being part of my podcast, let me know. Or if you want me to be part of your podcast, if you have one, I'll be gladly to join. Thank you very much, and you all have a great week.